And what do you get for that?
Bragging rights, the most valuable currency the LPGA Edge has to offer.
This is the LPGA Edge. And now your host with the cheat code, Kent Paisley.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 9.
Nine.
Scottie, 9 of the LPGA Edge.
Wow.
Joined as always by the one, the only, the worldwide man with, once again, the hat of the golf course he's competing at this week. Scottie, how's Hazeltine looking?
Hazeltine's good. It's not Tommy Fleetwood level merch, but I feel like I am pretty good in the game of getting the cool merch in the pro shop every week of the cool places we go to. So for all of our loyal watching and listening to us, yeah, we got some Hazeltine swag already, and there'll probably be another stop in the merch in pro shop before the week's over. But happy to be at Hazeltine. I wasn't here in 19. Really cool venue. Obviously, they have all the stuff for the Ryder Cup that they had a couple years ago. It's coming back in 37. So, yeah, super excited to be here. One of the cool places in golf just because so much has transpired on this big ballpark. And, you know, to say you were part of that is really cool.
Scottie, with the hat, are you trying to make it Maroon 6 instead of Maroon 5?
Oh, yeah, the color grabs at you, right? Like it's
It really does.
Yeah.
This is also another LPGA Edge first. I was at a tournament that you were not at.
Yes, that is correct. You were here in 19,
I was here in
working on the media
2019.
side. I wasn't even caddying professionally at the time, so
Look at how the world turns. I was working as a digital content producer for the LPGA at the time. Yeah, interviewed Hannah after she won. And Scottie, before we jumped online here, we kind of realized that this 2019 win, it was kind of a changing of the guard era of sorts for the LPGA. Beforehand, you had Inbee Park's reign where she won this tournament 3 times in a row. You had heavyweight hitters who were contending pretty consistently. And since Hannah's win, we haven't really seen past winners before 2019 contended this tournament at any other point. 2018, Solheim Park was defending her title, was in contention. You had So-Yeon Yu, who's retired.
yep.
Before that, Anna Nordqvist, who's in the field. I guess she would be kind of the lone exception here. But interesting to think about how Hazeltine added to its legend in a way as a part of the change in the guard moment for the LPGA.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, just look at the past winners, right? Like, it's Ronnie, it's Nelly, it's some of the biggest hitters that we have on tour. So, yeah, I can definitely see that. And you go back and you look at the past champions. I know they're having a great dinner tonight at the clubhouse. And Minjee will give a great speech, who obviously won last year. But no, yeah, you don't see a lot of repeat winners for the last couple of years. And we'll see if that trend continues, or we'll see if someone that's gotten this championship trophy in the last couple of years sees their name on it again. But that's what we'll play poker for.
I want to think, what would Minjee's speech be?
I don't know.
Because I think she's relatively to the tour a little bit, shorter winded when it comes to talking.
Agreed. And I have a source who's at that dinner who can tell
Ooh.
me. Yes.
Scottie Sources enter the pod. 3
He'll tell
minutes
me
in.
that
Here we go.
The dinner is going to be very basic, very steak, veggies, Caesar salad. Yeah, not going to complicate the dinner too much.
No Vegemite?
I don't think Vegemite's getting on the menu. I think it's
One
very,
job.
very
So
American. Minjee's going very American.
Well, another American tradition is playing poker, and I'm sorry I shot down the bridge that you just
I tried.
paused it a minute ago here. You really did. It's just the two of us.
Okay.
Snake
yes.
order. One of us won last time, so they get to decide where they're going to pick. So I'm going first.
Okay.
Here's our list of 25 players, but as I've learned as the dealer of poker, I don't. People pick outside the pot I offer. It's fine. I can respect it.
Hey,
We're
who
going.
went Allison Lee at Riv, and you guys were all shocked.
Allison Lee is in the poker pool. She is in the pool. We're going to go alphabetical order by first name, mostly because when I typed the list into Excel, I typed it all into one cell, and it got complicated. Anywho, Allison Lee, Brooke Henderson, Celine Boutier, Charlie Hole, Gabby Lopez, Grace Kim, Hei-Ran Yu, Hannah Green, Hae-Jin Choi, Hyo-Ju Kim, Inji Chun, Anna Yoon, Gina Titakun, Jennifer Kupcho, Lauren Coughlin, Lottie Wode, Lydia Ko, Maya Stark, Minjee Lee, Miyu Yamashita, Nelly Korda, Patty Tabatanagat, Ronin Yin, Seyoung Kim, Somi Lee, and someone hire me for an infomercial after that. All right, first pick. I appreciate you interacting with my joke. When it's just two of us, I might need an audience. I don't think the first pick is changing. I do think it's going to be a taller task for Nelly to win. You know, she had the media tour in New York City, which I feel very salient that I said the LPGA needs a major in either LA or New York, just to get into those big media markets. But looking back, Nelly finished T3 at Hazeltine.
Correct.
2019. Big ballpark once again. Kind of set up for a longer player. The top three finishers 7 years ago, which that much time has passed. Were longer hitters before you saw a tranche of shorter hitters contending. You had Lizette Salas, who was really pushing, Lydia Ko, top 10. So yeah, I mean, I think you might need to kick me off the podcast if I didn't take Nelly first, because she's the player to beat. But excited to see who you go 2-3. I don't think it's as obvious necessarily as drafts past.
Agreed. So we got Nelly on the board for you. 2 picks here. I will take, and I feel like it's, again, only a matter of time before she gets a major. She drives it great. She plays particularly good on tough open golf courses. Going to take, with my second pick, Charlie Hall. And with my next pick, in response to someone... Yeah, go ahead.
Now, let's hang on Charlie here for a second.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of fitting we pick her second when she is the queen of running up.
That means a good week.
It's a good pick. What do you think would allow her to break through here?
Well, I think she's extremely aggressive. The forecast calls for Tuesday and Wednesday rain. So she goes, if
Okay.
she has one of those Thursday morning tee times, I think it's going to be relatively soft golf course, and length will play even more of an advantage. And I think there's very few people that are as aggressive and can go out and shoot a number as Charlie Hall. So I think if you see tee times tomorrow where Charlie's in the morning, I expect her to be close somewhere to the lead if she has a Thursday morning tee time. So look for that. Let's go to the next pick.
Okay.
With my second pick, I think someone that's coming off a miscut, who is just a baller, and I think waiting for her time. I think we could see it finally get done for Gino. So she's my second pick.
Gino's been pretty disappointing in the majors this year.
Correct.
You know, it's always been weird in these drafts to have such a talented player be available. I mean, later, this is one of the earlier times that she's been selected. And it just has felt like, compared to last year, her talent has not translated the way we might have expected.
Okay. That's fair.
Yeah. All right. My turn for picks 2 and 3 for myself. I do think distance is a bit of a premium this week. And I'm going to go with Hannah Green for that. I know she has not been playing the best of the people in the pool recently, but I think of the players on tour, Hannah plays best at courses she's won at before, considering how many times she's won the same event. So therefore, coming back to Hazeltine where she won, and that up and down she had on the 72nd hole, like, I hope she's watching that on repeat from the bunker, because she was in jail, and just building confidence off of that shot. Yeah, I was really moved by this player's performance. I think it's an upswing. I really respect the change in strategy this year to be major oriented, I'm going to take Gabby Lopez. I
Okay.
think there's, this is my team. Nelly builds towards the majors. I think Gabby's got the veteran wherewithal to know what she needs to do, which is a really lazy analysis. But I do think there is some value this year because of how much more of a premium ball striking has relative to putting. I know we talked about that in our last episode, that to prepare properly for these courses is really important. And I was just so impressed by Gabby's finish at Riv that I think there's some momentum to ride coming into this week.
I like it. Can't argue it with any of those picks. So do I get two now?
You get two.
Okay. Um, you know, I have a theme on my team of being runner up, and look no less than last week over at Meyer. I'm taking Lottie Woad um, as my third pick here. I think ultimately it'd be tough to argue outside of Nelly if there's anyone playing better golf right now than her. Um, so yeah, I think she just finds a way to get it done. Doesn't have necessarily the longest length, but also doesn't hit it in trouble. And I can tell you from being on the course today, the way that the par fives are set up, if they put them all back, no one's
Mm-hmm.
getting there in two on any of the par fives. So
Hmm.
ultimately, I think it comes down to kind of wedge game and kind of just plotting your way around some of the longer holes and not getting yourself in places you shouldn't be. So I like Lottie Woad with my third pick, and I think she'll be hungry after.
Are we sure? Yeah, are we sure she's going to be over missing a 2-footer here
I
to
saw DT was making jokes
fall into a
today.
playoff?
DT was making jokes today. She's got her dad here. She's got her coach here. Had breakfast next to him. They flew in on the overnight. They'll be ready to go. We're playing for 13 million. And then I'm gonna take a past champion of the KPMG Championship, someone who was out there early this morning grinding, who ultimately is a very aggressive player, hits it so good off the tee. I'm taking Say Young Kim.
Seo Young's had a nice little bit of resurgence for herself. Winning KPMG in 2020 kind of felt like a long overdue thing, given she definitely at the time was the best player without a major title. Um, and 13-time winner, scoring record holder. I like the pick, though I'm very grateful that my next pick slid down far enough to where I could take her. Last four events has not finished outside the top 10. Fellow Steph Curry fan, major champion, Ronnie Yin. Playing great golf. What else can you ask for,
You walk around this place, you get some Baltusrol type vibes to it. The weather wasn't great that week at Balti, and the weather's not supposed to be good for the next 2 days around here. So yeah, I definitely can see it.
And that part got edited out. But I had a source where she's been battling some illness, so she's on the mend. So I'm excited to see a healthy Ronnie
Okay.
on her way back up. All right, so that's four picks in here.
Yep.
I got one last one.
Yep.
And Scotty, I'm gonna promise you one thing. I learned from our last poker draft not to throw a Hail Mary in the final round.
That's probably a good thing.
Let's not. Yuka Sasso's not on the list. There was a reasonable reason for it, but we're not gonna stretch ourselves so thin here. There's some pretty good options left on the board.
It's a great option.
Which, to be fair, we've drafted not very many players. Sorry that Scott Walker's not in attendance, but I think we're going to wrap it up. For my team, anyway, you're going to have one pick after.
Yes.
I think it's been pretty successful drafting this player, and we're talking distance, we're talking what conditions. Once again, the long bombing Patty Taftanica, major champion,
Love the pick.
round out the group. Just give me some length. Got some form. Got a healthy balance of distance hitters and players who are playing really well right now. Feeling good about my hand.
I love your hand.
Last
Hard.
one for you.
Probably would have took Patty in this spot if she would still be available. But with that said, again, I go back to loft hitting the ball up in the air is going to be such a premium this week to these undulated greens and be getting to some flags that some of the people can't get to. And so I think when it comes down to who can hit irons high, soft, kind of Jeff Ogilvy's type, the player just comes to mind that can get that job done. I think as good as anyone else, Allison Lee, to round out my team.
Allison Lee, rounding out the quintet here. Scottie, your team. Gino Titakun, Charlie Hole, Lottie Woad, Se-Young Kim, Allison Lee. Scott, I'm wondering if the pool might outperform our picks, but my group, Nelly Korda, Hannah Green, Gabby Lopez, Ronnie Yin, Patty T. I mean, we left Minjee on the table.
Yeah, but do you really see going back?
Defending champ. No, but she fits the profile of a player who would do well out here.
I'm picking winners, baby. Like you said, it doesn't matter how you finish if you don't win. So, I think you got to pick someone that's going to win.
And you know who's really used to winning on this show?
Yeah, but who was the first winner in Masters? Who took Rory?
We have this same argument every episode.
If you're not,
I win the ones that matter for this show. You've won Masters Poker. I'm proud of you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I got you. When we come back, we'll have our final discussion ahead of Hazeltine. This is a big run of majors here. 3 majors over the next month. Solheim Cup rosters will be decided shortly thereafter, so we're each going to pick our own list of 3. Who are the top 3 players in our minds from either the European or American Solheim Cup teams who need to perform well over the next month to get onto the teams?
The Edge dives deep into the cheat code on our YouTube channel. Check the show notes for our video content that gives you the insight from top players that you can use to become a better player and enjoy golf even more.
Scottie, I know we're going to talk Solheim Cup here, but we forgot one very important thing in poker.
What's that?
You have a team of 6.
Yeah, no, she's
You're
on.
caddying for Ingrid Lindblad this week. She's on your team. That rule has not changed.
Yeah, always.
Just forgot to bring it up.
Always taking the boss,
You know, she's given to you. That's the rule out here. If you caddy in a tournament, you get that player on your team.
Love it.
We love the reward system. I know your second trip to the merch tent will be after you guys win. So
Hopefully, I'll be like the 3rd time. I'll probably go tomorrow. Let's be honest.
As long as you buy something for me.
What size?
Anyways,
what size? Medium?
That's too public of information to give out. So, Solheim Cup rosters getting finalized after the majors.
Yes.
European team is finalized right after AIG. Mm-hmm. The Americans are going to be finalized 3 weeks later after Canada. So this is a massive stretch because majors are worth more, A, for world ranking points, which is one way players can get onto teams, and second, for their respective Solheim Cup points, which is another way that players get on teams. There are more players who get on by points. 7 American players make the roster through points, 2 through the world rankings. For the European team, 2 players make it through LET Solheim Cup points, 6 players make it through world rankings, and the remaining 4 players are picked as captain's picks by Captain Anna Nordqvist. The Americans have 3 captain's picks. I can do 12 minus 9. 3 captain's picks for Captain Angela Stanford. And so here's how the point systems work. Starting on the European side, top 2 make it. Charlie Hole basically in on points. 226.7 points right now. Second place, Gerard Tamburlini, 133.1 points. And there's a glob of players who are pretty close to her who play a decent amount on the LET over this period of contention, qualifying period. That's the word I was looking for.
Nice.
So, Charlie's pretty safe.
Yeah.
You get 100 points for a major win. So by and large, every single player who is in these fields can still play their way onto the European Solheim Cup team. 50 points for a runner-up. For the U.S., Nelly Korda has mathematically locked herself up, which is pretty crazy to think about given the permutations you go through to ensure someone's in. She's got 3,053 points. Second place, Angel Yin, 1,563. There are 12 players who could, in theory, play their way in through one major win. That goes all the way down to Jenny Bay at 716. And then the spots in the world rankings right now goes down to 52nd for the Europeans and Esther Henseleit. For the Americans right now, their qualifiers are Andrea Lee at 33 and Lindy Duncan at 49. Lindy Duncan and Andrea are currently 8th and 9th respectively on the points list. So with all of the legalese out the way here, Scotty, and explaining how these points work, it's really hard to calculate out, right, who does what until at least we get through one more major. It might be more worthwhile to wait till after Evian to deeply dive into some of this stuff. But who are the 3 players that we think for either team need to have the strongest showing to either earn their way in or earn a captain's pick? This is a similar way we did it with the U.S. Women's Open preview. We'll start from 3. We'll go to 1. Scotty, leading with you. Who do you have at 3?
Yeah, well, I'll start off with Team Europe, and this player has shown some trends, but I don't think they've had like the best finish where they could stand out and kind of show Captain Nordqvist that they want. But I know it's a player that people are looking at. I'll start with Julia Lopez Ramirez for Team Europe, and I think she's got an unbelievable chance. I know there's some of the Spanish at the top of that's already going to be on the team would like to play with her. So I think she has a unbelievable opportunity to, have a couple good finishes, whether it's here, whether it's Evian, to stand out and really show that she deserves a spot on that team.
Yeah, had a top 10 earlier this year in Singapore. Second year out on tour. Scotty, I feel like it's a little bit of a giveaway to say other Spanish people on the team would like to play with her.
You can put it together. I'm not going to name names.
There's not options. Silence is golden.
I'm not doing the work for you. You got to put it together.
It's possible they'll be referred to later on in this discussion. My number 3 is an American, Rose Zhang. She is struggling this year, 77th in the world rankings right now, pretty far down on points. But when you're a past Solheim Cup player, that makes it a lot easier to justify you for a captain's pick if you find form. She just graduated, so that mental hurdle of going to school should be off her plate. And she was so dominant as an amateur match play player. I remember talking with Stacy ahead of the last Solheim Cup when she was, breaking down her roster to me, and she was just like, she couldn't keep talking about Rose's amateur match play success. I just think that she's got to show something to justify the pick here. She's not playing well enough right now, I think, where you could take her, which is kind of an unfathomable thought relative to the start of her career and her amateur success. But I think that's what we're looking for from her right now.
Couldn't agree more. Rose was my second, number 2 pick, so I'll just expand on what you talked about. But yeah, currently 15th on the points list for Solheim. And no, she definitely hasn't. If you look at the longevity of the season, hasn't had that finish that it stands out and says, wow, this is Rose. Obviously, you alluded to some injuries and taking some time off with school. But at the end of the day, we're getting into July here, and Angela needs rock stars, and she needs rock stars that are playing their absolute best, and she needs to take the best 12 that she can take. And I don't know if anyone would make the argument she's one of the 12 best Americans playing golf right now. But with that said, she does have time. As you alluded to earlier, the qualification period for the Americans goes all the way to Canada. And I think they'll look at the qualification period before they go to picks, right? Because they're going to leave that open. So I think Rose ultimately will find her way on that team, and I think she probably knows it. She knows she needs to play better, and there's no better opportunity to show the captain you need to play better than all the majors that we have coming up. So I think she will be, but I do think it's time that she has 1, 2, or 3 or 4 good finishes to really show Captain Stanford that she's here.
Which of these three majors do you think would translate, in terms of the venue and layout, will translate the most to the Netherlands, where the Solheim Cup is being
I know
held this year?
nothing. I know nothing about the Netherlands.
This is why I ask you.
Yeah, I know nothing about that golf course other than I know there's some water, and it's could be hilly. So, I mean, naturally, maybe Evian comes to mind just
Vian
because of
and
the elevation changes. Maybe a little bit more on the European side, just because, there's more of them and it's kind of that style of golf course. I think, and then the AIG is such a unique style of golf that won't be that won't be used during the Netherlands. So I think, if any, I'll say this: I'll say the next two. I'll say this
yeah,
week and then probably Evian. Probably a little bit more this week on the American side looking at things, just because Evian again is kind of its own little creature and character and so unique. So yeah, I'll say KPMG for the Americans and Evian for the Europeans.
yeah. Evian doesn't have the greatest reputation among some of the marquee American players.
That is correct.
Since you just said you're number two, I'll go to my number two here, Carlota Saganda. And you might ask yourself, why Carlota? She's
Woo!
fine. She's gonna make the team.
Is this hot take?
She's gonna make the team. I just think that the European Solheim Cup team gets a little bit handicapped by having to take two players off its points list. Because playing on the LAT and playing a bunch there, I don't think correlates to success in Solheim. And Carlota right now is the player who's closest of the marquee veterans to get to that number two spot. And so if you get a couple strong performances from her, she can jump up into that two slot, get a little bit more optionality. Chiara is 90th in the Rolex World Rankings right now, has done okay on the LPGA. But I think that's just trying to give Captain Anna Nordqvist more choices on her end. Granted, Caroline Headwell came from that spot out in Spain and had a heroic comeback against Allie Ewing. But I think that spot is the weakest spot of the 24 spots selected for the Solheim Cup.
No doubt, no doubt. And I don't know. I don't know what you do with the LET because obviously they lobby hard for those spots, but it is handicapped by having to take two of those people. Obviously, it's a great position, the fact that Charlie is so far ahead in one. Um, but I do think, to your analysis, it's spot on that having to take two instead of, just having another person on the points list of who's playing the best kind of puts the Europeans, I think, in a little bit of a disadvantage. And
Yeah, you could clump.
I'll short there because I don't want to talk about any particular players.
I mean, you could clump three players in off the top 10. Carlota's at 88.4 points. Lottie's at 79.8. Maya Stark is at 76.3. They're all trying to catch up to Chiara at 133.1. But, Lottie's played 5 LET events. Chiara's played 28. There's just so many more chances to score points here. And so I think that's where it's reflective of some of the challenges.
Couldn't agree more.
I'm glad we came from hot take to okay. There's some logic.
I like it. I
We
like the
arrived.
logic. Yeah, no, it's
You know.
it's spot on. I mean, listen, I don't. I think Carlotta could probably not play until Soheim, and she'd still be on the team. But
Oh, for sure, for sure. Who's your number one?
okay, number one, I'm gonna stay with the Americans here, and I'm gonna go with Megan King.
Okay.
I think currently 11th in points. She hasn't necessarily had recent success. I was hoping to see a lot more for her and Alexi at Dow. Last year they lost in a playoff, and that could be a potential Solheim Cup pairing. And to go out there and not play the weekend in the Dow, I think doesn't send the best message of how united that is. Even though I know it's both of you guys hitting the shots, if you would have asked me in February, there's no way you leave Megan or Lexi at home for the Solheim Cup. And now, I don't know. Again, someone that I think will be there just because they're an emotional leader. They're a veteran. Hard not to have one 30-second conversation and be on Team Megan. But to your point, I really want her to play well and earn that spot because I think it makes the American team a lot stronger. So I'm really hoping you see an uptick in Megan King's game rather soon.
I feel like that might be a little bit more of a reflection on Lexi than Megan in terms of their Dow performance, because Lexi is now withdrawn from this week, withdrew from Meyer because of a hip injury, and it's in some ways
Okay, but then
it's
Megan
kind of the farewell to Lexi.
But hold on, let me push back on that because then Megan went and missed the cut at Meyer.
Yeah, I mean Megan can play better too, but you were talking about the pair as a potential Solheim pairing. I think at this juncture, unless Lexi gets healthy and wins a tournament, because she's not going to go to Evian.
Correct.
So see if she gets healthy enough.
She won't be at Scottish.
I don't know what the qualification process is for her at British.
I don't know. The
so,
RNA keeps that pretty close to the vest. So
yeah, so I just don't know how many more chances Lexi has here, and I don't think you could pick her just to pick her.
Assuming if she won Canada, maybe.
Yeah, I think that would be enough. But you know, the avenues for Lexi Thompson again this roster are quite few at this point. Okay. And that's why she didn't make my list. If she was healthy, I probably would have put her on the list. But she withdrew before the start of the show.
Okay. Who's your number one?
Someone you drafted in poker. Allison Lee. Okay. She's so far down the points list where you kind of expect her to make the team by captain's pick, and she's playing well enough, like she's on the trend line to certainly justify it. She just, because she missed some time having her first child, she's going to have to earn it through a captain's pick, and therefore has to keep playing well here. Angel Yin could fall off a cliff. She's still going to make the team at this point, right? So, yes. Allison is just her path is, well, not as few avenues as Lexi. I think it's
so. Look, I think this is a fair question to ask, and I want you to finish your analysis. But because you took two Americans who are competing probably for a pick right now, Allison or Roseanne?
Allison.
Okay, so she would have to jump. She is 1, 2.
I think she's in the legitimate mix for one of the picks right now.
So, but okay,
and that's why I think there's a little bit more. I don't know if pressure is the right word, but there who the pile of people competing for a pick right now who are currently not qualified. Sarah Schmelzel's not healthy, so she's off the list, even though she's in the top 15. So it's Rose, Jenny Bay, Megan Kang, Lucy Lee. I think
Brooke Matthews.
I think Megan's a virtual lock for one of them. She doesn't play her way onto the team. She's too much of an emotional heartbeat. I think there's value in having her there. So there's one. So I think we're looking at two. And I think it would be hard to not reward the first person on the points list who doesn't make it. Right now, that's Lucy. So, I think that's the pool of Lucy, Rose, Allison, Jenny Bay, 2 for 4.
Hold on. I only get 3.
I know. I'm saying 2 for 4 because Megan Kang is already picked, right? Okay. So that's where you're making an argument amongst that pool. Yeah, it's almost like the Megan Kang analysis that's not quite akin to, but it's similar to even though Leona McGuire is not currently qualified, she's gonna be a deadlock to make that team based on her match play success.
You think?
Yeah, how does Kent Sources phrase this? I think she got a little bit shafted in 2024 by European leadership.
Okay.
So yeah, she had every reason to be out there. She won her singles match, and they only played her one time for no good reason. I mean, we asked that from the media side. We asked that every day, basically. Why aren't you playing Leona more? And there were reasons that were forthright, and there were reasons that were not forthright. So That we love silence to end a podcast. That's rare for this.
Yeah, I
recording
think
pod,
I,
you know?
you listen. I don't know if that's who I would pick right now if I'm on the European team side, but
She's too good at match play.
okay.
Anyways, Scottie, Hazeltine coming
How
up.
is she? How is she done in the majors?
Leona,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not assuming great. It hasn't been her best year. But
She's
she is
got-
sponsored by KPMG.
She is, but
It's
she
her time. It's her time.
She missed the cut at Chevron. She missed the cut at US Open.
I don't remember what she did at Hazel. I think she barely made the cut in 2019. Anyways, Scottie, you brought up the point earlier about 13 million this week. Do you remember what the purse was in 2019?
I'm gonna guess 5.
3.85.
Things
I
have
think
changed.
Hannah would have traded winning in 2019.
So
for
you're saying
2026.
since I came on the tour, we started playing for more money.
Yeah, a worldwide man entered the group, and
Look at it.
clip it and send it straight to the business people. Sponsor Scotty's weekly hat purchases.
Now that is something I can get behind.
Finally, Scotty, we'll catch up soon here. We'll recap this tournament, my friend. We got to run a poker to play. You better get used to that casino smell. The slot machines playing, the cigarette smoke in the background, the drinks getting passed around because we got a couple more hands to play.
I'm always ready for.
And I got bad news.
I'm always ready.
If I win one more, it's over. I'll have won the season.
And what do you get for that?
Bragging rights, the most valuable currency the LPGA Edge has to offer.
You're not lying there.
All right, Scotty, we'll catch up soon. Good luck this week, and have a safe trip to the merch tent tomorrow.
My man. Always a pleasure. And for all of our listeners, I think this is going to be a really good championship. So hopefully you look at our picks, follow us, and just watch some really, really good golf this week.
Scotty, you're supposed to say like, subscribe, leave a review.
Yeah,
The big three.
Do all that shit too.
Take care, man.
Thank you.